Sade and Ayomide were childhood friends, torn apart by Sade's family's wealth. Years later, they reunite by chance and Ayomide's hatred turns to love as he sees how humble she has become. However, Sade's family refuses to let her marry someone below her station, and in a cruel twist, they send her abroad. Ayomide, driven by revenge and love, becomes wealthy and turns cold and calculating when Sade returns, hoping to rekindle things. Ayomide now sees her only as a memory, leaving her to feel the pain of a love she once rejected. Welcome, dear viewers, to another episode in our Unrequited Love series. In this episode, we want to look at the whispers in the Harmattan. But before we go right into it, I want to say thank you for taking our time to watch the last episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Now back to the whispers in the Harmattan. The village of Ilopeju came alive each day beneath a sky often dimmed by the Harmattan winds. As dust and fog painted the air in hues of grey. Here, under this hazy sky, Ayomide and Sade spent their childhood days. Ilopeju was a bustling, colorful community with crowded markets filled with the scent of roasted corn and spicy jollof, vendors calling out to passers-by, and children's laughter echoing through the windy red dirt roads. Life here was simple, and for the young, curious Ayomide and Sade, it was paradise. As a boy, Ayomide was sharp-eyed and resourceful, quick to defend his friends with the fierce loyalty of one beyond his years. He had a slender build and a mischievous smile that revealed a gap between his teeth, a smile that only widened when he saw Sade. Sade, however, was the village jewel. Her beauty was unmistakable, with skin that glowed a warm brown and eyes bright as stars. Her family's wealth meant she wore the finest clothes and gold-studded anklets. But she was never haughty. Instead, she found joy in spending time with Ayomide, running through the fields or listening to stories under the massive baobab tree that shaded the village square. But as they grew, the friendship was challenged. Sade's family, the Adeyemis, were wealthy, their fortune coming from cocoa plantations and a successful export business. They lived in the grandest house on the edge of the village, where tall gates and manicured lawns separated them from the modest homes scattered throughout Ilopeju. Though they tolerated Sade's friendship with Ayomide when they were children, they soon made it clear that her future would not include a boy of his station. That night, Ayomide heard the news. Sade was to be sent away to school in the city, away from Ilopeju, away from him. His heart ached with pain as he watched her leave, a small figure disappearing into the Harmattan mist without even a chance to say goodbye. Years passed, and the memory of Sade remained a bittersweet whisper in Ayomide's mind. Life was harsh without her. But he carried on, working odd jobs, struggling to make a name for himself in a world where people looked down on him. He grew taller, his once gentle features hardened by years of rejection and struggle. His laugh was no longer mischievous but bitter, his smile an armor against the world's cruelty. Then, one fateful day, their paths crossed again. Ayomide was in the city, now a self-made businessman, known for his tenacity and unyielding drive. The boy who once owed little to his name had transformed into a man of wealth, dressed in fitted suits and polished shoes that echoed through the city's marbled floors. But beneath his success, there was a heart encased in ice, hardened by the ache of abandonment and the memory of Sade. As he exited a meeting one afternoon, there she was, Sade. But this Sade was different. She wore a simple dress, her once ornate jewelry now replaced by a single wooden bracelet. Her eyes, once vibrant with youthful joy, were now laced with a humility he hadn't expected. Ayomide, her voice was soft, almost hesitant, as if reaching out to touch something fragile. Is it really you? For a moment, Ayomide's walls began to crumble. He remembered the girl from his childhood, the friend who had laughed with him, shared dreams beneath the baobab tree. But then, like a flood, the pain and bitterness returned. He remembered how she had left him behind, how she had become the symbol of all he was denied. Yes, Sade, he replied, his voice cold as steel. It's me, the village boy who wasn't good enough. Sade flinched at his tone, the remorse evident in her eyes. Ayomide, I never wanted to leave. I wanted to stay. But my family, they forced me. He scoffed, his lips curling into a bitter smile. Your family? The same family who saw me as nothing more than dirt? And now you're here. Wanting what exactly? To rekindle some long-lost friendship? Or maybe you're just curious to see what had become of the poor village boy? Ayomide, it's not like that, she pleaded, reaching out to touch his arm. I've thought about you every day since I left. I wanted to come back, but you didn't, he interrupted, his voice laced with cold anger. You didn't come back to me. You didn't come back, Sade. You left me behind. Silence hung between them, thick and heavy. Ayomide watched as Sade struggled for words, her eyes glistering with unshed tears. For a moment, he almost felt something, a warmth, a flicker of the love he once held for her. But he buried it, locking it away beneath years of bitterness. Days passed, and Ayomide found himself thinking about Sade more often than he wanted to admit. He remembered their laughter, the days spent running throughout the field, the promises they had once made under the stars. But every memory was tainted by the pain of her leaving, and though he was wealthy now, he felt empty, haunted by what could have been. One evening, Sade visited him again. This time, her eyes were steady and her voice unwavering. Ayomide, she began, I know I hurt you. I know I can never undo the past, but I came here not for wealth, not for status. I came back to find you, to be with you. If you can ever forgive me. He looked at her, his heart pounding. Part of him wanted to reach out, to take her in his arms, to let go of the pain that had poisoned him for so long. But his pride, his wounded heart, held him back. I don't know if I can, Sade, he replied quietly. I don't know if I can look at you without remembering what I lost because of you. Sade's face fell, and for a moment, she looked as if she might crumble under the weight of his word. But she held her head high, a flicker of the girl he once knew. Then, I'll carry that pain, she whispered, because I still love you, Ayomide, even if you no longer feel the same. And with that, she turned and left, disappearing into the Harmattan mist just as she had years before. Ayomide stood there, watching her leave, his heart turned between love and pride. That night, Ayomide returned to the baobab tree in Ilopeju, the place where the love story had first blossomed. Carved into the back of the baobab tree were the words he had etched in his youth, a love that endures. He traced the letters of these words, feeling the weight of his own bitterness slip away, replaced by a sorrow that felt like home. But Sade was gone. This time, it was he who was left with nothing but memories, memories of a love lost to time and pride. And with that, we've come to the end of the Whispers in the Harmattan. If this story of love, pain, and pride touched you, let me know in the comments below. And do you believe Ayomide should have forgiven Sade? Should love overcome all? Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for the next story in our series of unrequited love tales. Until next time, may we find the courage to forgive before it's too late. Stay blessed.